Hey beautiful, you're welcome to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Chisom. Today's tutorial is one that I'm very excited about. It's all about the cutting and stitching of this beautiful jumpsuit. If this is something you're interested in learning, stay tuned to this channel and don't go anywhere. Let's dive straight into the tutorial. Now to begin, I'm going to explain the marks that I have here. This line here is going to be my waistline. Here is my hips line, from waist to my hips line. Here it would have been my cross line, but because it's a jumpsuit, this is my cross line. So from here to here is my cross line. From here to here is my knee line, and down here I have my full length. This is the trouser part of the jumpsuits that we are drafting. Okay, so for the jumpsuit pattern, you're going to be making use of your hips divide by 3 for your cross line. Your hips divide by 3, the value you get is what you'll be using as your cross line. So this is my cross line right here. From here to here is my hips divide by 3, which is my cross line, and here to here is my hips line. So this line, basically we are not going to be making use of it. I mistakenly drew it here, but when we are drafting the back pattern, it will not be there. I will only have my waistline, my hips line, my cross line, my knee line, and the full length of the trouser pattern. All right, so we are going to start off drafting the front pattern. From here, from this line to this line is my hips divide by 4. All right, so this line is going to be my center line. So from this center line, at the waistline here, I'll go in by ½ inch. This is for the front pattern. I'll go in by ½ inch. This is a jumpsuit, okay? So we are going to be having a lot of contouring on this jumpsuit pattern. Now, as I've gone in by ½ inch here, I will connect it to the hip line like so. Now from this point here, I'll mark my waist divide by 4, and I'll be adding ½ inch to that plus our dart allowance. We are marking ½ inch to that because we are more fuller on the front waistline than the back waistline. Now this ½ inch that I am adding on the front waistline, I'll remove it from the back waistline. Okay, I will connect the points to the hip line. On the crotch line, I will come in by ½ inch, and I'll connect it back to the hip line. Remember, what I have here from this side to this side is my hips divide by 4. Okay, so I'm going to be extending this crotch line with 1.5 inches. For the front crotch extension, I'll be using 1.5 inches, and I am going to connect it to blend into this line that I have here. I'm going to measure out what I have here. I'll get the midpoint of this measurement. I'll place it on my knee line, and I'll place it on the hemline as well. Now I'm going to square this up. Now this is my crease line. On this knee line, I'm going to mark out my knee measurement divide by 4, and I'll distribute it equally on both sides of this crease line. How tight you want it to be on your knee line is what you're going to be putting right here. So I'm using 5 inches on both sides of this crease line. I'm going to connect from this point to this point with a slight curve. I'll connect from here to here. Please take note of how I am placing my curve ruler. You are also going to determine how wide you want the leg to be. If you want it fitted, you can go ahead and put your exact ankle measurement on this point, okay? But I want it to be even wider than the knee. All right, so I am going to put 6 inches on both sides of this line. I'm going to connect the point to the knee line with a straight ruler, like so. I'll blend this. So moving on, I'm going to come down by 1 inch from my front waistline here. So from the waistline here, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. Now to mark out the darts, because I am going to be using my bust pan for the upper part of this jumpsuit, I am also going to be using my bust pan on this pattern right here. So from this new center line here, I'll measure my bust pan. I'll take ½ inch on both sides of this dart leg. I'll come up by 2 inches from the hip line and I'll connect the dart. Now this drafting, you can totally do this on your fabric directly. Okay, the reason I'm using this pattern paper is for you to be able to see clearly what I am doing. Please note that on this front pattern, on the center front line, we came in by ½ inch before we marked our waistline, and we also added ¼ inch to our waist divide by 4 measurements because we are fuller on the front waistline than on the back waistline. So this ¼ inch that was added on this front waistline, we are going to be deducting it from the back waistline. So now we are going to be drafting the back. Now I have the pattern for the back. So I'm just going to quickly explain again the lines that I have here. This line right here is my waistline. From this line to this line is my hips line. From this line to this line is the crotch line. So divide your hips by 3. The value you get, use that as your cross line for a jumpsuit. All right, now from this point to this point is my waist to knee measurements, and then the full length of the trouser pattern down there. Now this box I have here is my hips divided by 4. From this line here to this line here is my hips divided by 4. Now from the center line here, I am going to come in by 2 inches. And I'll connect this point to the hip line. Now this is because the center back is not straight. Okay, so from this 2 inches mark, I'll come in by my waist divide by 4 minus 0.25. That is ¼ inch because it has already been added to the front waistline. Now I'll also include 1 inch for that intake, and I'll connect the point to the hip line. This is the side of the pattern. For the crotch extension for the back pattern, you divide your hips by 10. The value you get, you use that to extend your crotch line. So I'm going to connect the point to the hip line with my curve ruler. I'll keep balancing it until I'm able to get a smooth transition from this point through to the crotch line, like so. So I think I've gotten it right here. So this is what I have. I'll measure what I have all through from the side to the cross extension. I'll place the value I get on my knee line. I'll place it on the hemline as well. And I'll connect the points to a straight line. So on the front pattern, for my knee line, I have 10. On the hemline, I have 12. Now on this back pattern, I am going to be putting 11 on the knee line. I'll distribute the 11 on both sides on this crease line. Okay, I'll put 5.5 here and 5.5 here. I'll connect these points to the crotch line like so, and this point I'll connect to the crotch extension. Now I'm going to connect downwards with a straight ruler. That is after I have marked out my hemline measurement. So on the hemline for the front pattern, I used 12. Here I am going to use 13. So I'll mark 6.5 on this side and 6.5 on this other side, and I'll connect that point to the knee line with a straight line. Go ahead and blend this. We'll be extending the back waistline by 1.5 inches. I'll connect the extension back to the side. That intake, I'll divide the waistline into two and mark the midpoint. And on the waist, I'm going to take 1/2 inch on both sides. This dart should stop at about 2 inches above the hip line. This is all for the trouser part of a jumpsuit. So I'm going to cut out this pattern both for the front and the back, and I'll cut it out on my fabric. So I'm going ahead to cut out my fabric with the pattern. So here is the back and here is the front for the trouser pattern. I also have my upper bodies right here. Here is my front body and here is the back. So like I said, I'll be using the basic bodice block for this jumpsuit. Okay, so this is the upper part I'll be attaching to the trouser. This is the front side and this is the back side. I have my facing for the neckline of the front and the facing for the neckline of the back right here. All right, so I'll keep this aside. I just want to quickly show you how you transfer this dart to your fabric. What you do is simply get your scissors while the pattern is still placed on the fabric. You notch the 2 dart lines like so. Now get a pin and pin the dart point together with the fabric. let it pierce through to the fabric. Okay, that way you will get the point of your darts. Gotten the point of your darts here, you're going to chalk it. Okay, chalk it on this side and this side as well. So by doing this, you have identified your dart point. Okay, you know that it is coming from these two sides to this point. Okay, you can go ahead and remark it, or this is simply okay since you have your points here and on this other side as well. Okay, so this is how to transfer the dart from the pattern to the fabric. Very easy. So you can see that I added allowance all around my fabric. Okay, so I'm going to be joining everything with the allowance that I have added on the fabric. So I'll take out my patterns now. We are done with the pattern. So I'll take this to my sewing machine right now and pick the dart points that I have made here and sew it down. I'll start from the dart apex and sew all the way to the top. I'll do the same on the two front pieces, and I also do the same on the two back pieces. And then after sewing the darts together, we'll go ahead and join the crotch. For the front pieces, I'm going to join the front crotch together from the bottom here, from this point where the crotch ends, all the way to the top. Now for this back, I have made a notch where I want my zipper to stop right here, so that is where I'll sew from to the end of the crotch here for the back, because I'm going to be attaching zipper to the center back. I'm going to back stitch here and take it all the way to the end of the crotch. That is after I have joined the darts together. Please take note of that. So I've gone ahead to stitch down the darts. This is the front piece. Okay, this is the right side, and I'll turn it over to the wrong side. Okay, I also stitched the crotch line from the top to the end here, and the darts here I have gone ahead to iron it to lay flat. Okay, and this is the back piece. Like I said earlier, I left a space for the fixing of the zipper. These are the two back pieces with me here. I've stitched the darts down and ironed it. So what I'll do next is to join the bodice to the pants side. You can see what I have. So I'm going to be stitching the upper part to the lower part. So you have to first of all pin the darts so that you go ahead and join it with the allowance that was added. This is the other part. I'll also go ahead and match the darts like so. Pin it. Please, pinning is very important. Okay, so after pinning, I'll go ahead and join them together. Front bodice. For the front part as well, I'll go ahead and join them together. Okay, so I'll flip it over like so and make sure the darts are aligned. I'll secure this dart area with my pin like so. So I'll join the upper part to the lower part for the front and for the back, and I'll be right back. Now I'm done joining the upper part to the lower part, and this is what is looking like right now. You can see how it's looking like a dress already. Here is the back piece. I've already finished the neckline of the front with my facing. So next thing to do is to go ahead and attach my zipper at the center back. Then after that, I'll finish up the necklines with my back facing. So I've gone ahead to attach the zipper and finished up my neckline. You can see how neat it is. Okay, I've installed my zipper and finished up the neckline area. So the next thing to do is I'm going to place the front piece on the back piece, and I'll join them at the shoulders first. Okay, I'm going to use one facing to cover up the neckline area like so, and sew it down with 1/2 inch. I'll do the same on the other shoulder. Then after joining the shoulders together, I'll join them at the side. Please, after joining the shoulders, you join them at the sides. Join it with the allowance you added for joining. Okay, so after joining it at the shoulder, I'll join it at the sides. Then after joining at the sides, I will now get the crotch line. I'll match the crotch lines like so and stitch from one point straight down, come back to the same point where I started from and stitch from that point to the other side down. I hope that was understandable. So just go ahead and finish the shoulder line. After joining the shoulder, join the sides, like match the sides together and join with the allowance that was added. After joining the sides, then you move over to the crotch side and match the crotch together. Make sure the crotch points are matching each other. Then sew from this point all the way to the bottom. Come back at this point and sew all the way to the other side down. All right, I'll go to my sewing machine right now and do as I have said, and I'll be right back. Okay, right now I have gone ahead to join all the sides together, and this is what I have here. I've actually ironed this properly, or ironed it the way I would want. Okay, so this is what I have now. If you're following me at this point, congratulations for getting to this level. Okay, you can see the shape of the jumpsuit. So we are almost done. That is, if you want to wear this as a sleeveless, you can just go ahead and finish up the armhole line and your jumpsuit will be ready. But for me, I will add a sleeve to this. This is the sleeve I'll be working with. I cut this as a basic sleeve. I just added a little bit of excess of about 3 to 4 inches because I wanted to have just a little puff. So I'll go ahead and attach these sleeves to the armhole area and I'll show you the final result. Here is the final outcome, guys. You can see this is so beautiful. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. If you found this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button, turn on notification bell, share this video with your loved ones, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.